the lastborn or the first son of Asantehene, but because of power, arrogance, carelessness, absolute disrespect. This is how far we've come. This is how low we've descended as a country. Of course, about 70, 80, 90% of the voters have made their mind. And it is very clear that the NDC is forming the next government. I am happy, and that gives me joy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abe. You're still watching Good Morning Africa here on Pan-African Television. We are poised to bring you insightful conversations, and you can be a part of it by sending your messages through the number that has been displayed on the screen. My name is Ohemaa Agyekum, and it's always a pleasure to keep you company every morning and bring you the very best. Yes. Right, now let's go into our first topic for discussion. Now, it has to do with the NSS scandal and all the things that we're hearing. They are alleged because the Fourth Estate, headed by Manasseh Azuri, that underwent this very investigation, has word on the streets that NSS is involved in several scandals, including, you know, having a list of ghost names on their portal. I mean, their database, 44,000 in number, and also some, you know, humongous amounts of debts that the NSS is owing, and some monies that have been squandered, among several other things. But these remain allegations. Now, they have run to the courts to seek an injunction that the investigation or the details of the investigation does not come out. And the court has duly granted them a 10-day injunction that has been served to the Fourth Estate. Let's delve into the issues. First, let's talk about the scandal, and if we may, can also touch on whether or not the courts should have, you know, held their horses. Ramsey.
Ohemaa,
Yeah.
let me take this opportunity to say a good morning to yourself, my colleague panelists, and to the good people of Ghana that are going to vote come December 7, which is tomorrow, to effect that change that they want to see in their lives. Ohemaa, nothing surprises me under this current regime. This is no news. It is just like a deja vu. It's no news. What will surprise you under this government? When the God that we serve, the Almighty, the Alpha and the Omega, was even scammed in the name of building a national cathedral, that they used $58 million of you and I and the rest of the people watching are hard-earned taxpayers' money to just go and dig a pit. What will surprise you? The NSS scandal, again, is a reflection of this government's failure to protect the public purse. This government promised us that they were going to protect the public purse. Right? Look at the scandals that has plagued this regime under the leadership of Mahmoud Bawumia and Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Today we are talking about the NSS losing or squandering 380 million Ghana cedis a year. If you multiply that by 8 years, that's hovering about, I would say, almost 3 billion or something thereabout. Or more. Billion Ghana cedis wasted. And for the record, when I also looked into this issue, I realized that there were ghost names involved. And it would surprise you to know that the ghost names that were even involved, some were of Kenyan origin, the names. And the age of the people, some, if you check, were about 93 years, 83 years old. How is it that we have a National Service Secretariat that has been backed by data? If at all, they promised, and of course, they executed that, which is a national identification card, the Ghana card. The Ghana card has a record and the data of all Ghanaians, which the NSS uses, right?
Yeah.
If you want to apply for posts and order, you have to use the Ghana card. So how is it that some people circumvented that process and put in names of Kenyans that were 83, 93 years old, and the system that they were using could not flag that? That caused the public purse a tune of 380 million Ghana cedis a year. And you think that it is fine?
But this hasn't been proven as a fact. They still are allegations.
Ohemaa, were you not here when the Controller and Accountant General's Department did flag a lot of ghost names in the payroll system of government? Are you surprised with this? Indeed, it is possible. It is possible that this scandal is real. It is possible that this MPP government, right, would never fight corruption. And so if we are talking about a loss of 380 million Ghana cedis squandered a year, indeed it is possible. And that is a fact. Then the sad thing, and I'm not surprised, because when you look at the Mo Ibrahim index, governance index for judicial autonomy, our judiciary has declined in terms of judicial autonomy by 50%. Then the court comes in place and plays, they act in an unprofessional and untransparent manner, with the greatest of respect to our judiciary system. But I'll say it as it is. What is the essence of the judiciary coming into this issue in the first place? Impeding the ability of our media house, in the name of the Fourth Estate, which Manasseh Azuri is the proponent that is leading this charge, giving an injunction that they should not publish their findings. Are we living in a banana republic, or we are living in a democratic dispensation that everybody has a right to express himself? I'm not surprised, because when you look at the Press Freedom Index, in 2023, Ghana's ratings and ranking was the worst in 18 years under this regime, under the purview and the leadership of a so-called human rights lawyer. We've seen how the judiciary has been used as a weapon to suppress the will of the citizens who are championing the cause for accountability and good governance. And indeed, in the president's own words, he said that we should be citizens and not what? Spectators. So in our quest...
That wasn't his words.
President Akufo-Addo?
Yeah. Those were not his words. It was Bill Clinton's words.
But he re-echoed it.
Yeah.
He re-echoed it. Anyway, he plagiarized the speech. Yeah. But I'm saying that for the Ghanaian people, he used that. Yeah. And so he seeked and he believed in that principle that indeed we should be what? Citizens and not spectators. Today, if you rise as a citizen and want to demand accountability from this government, you are met with some harsh force and brutality. And that is why today, the people of Ghana have another chance to redo and redress the mistake that they made in 2016 by trusting Mahmoud Bawumia and Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and giving them all the powers enshrined in our constitution to govern us. Today, Kolebu Teaching Hospital, which they promise free renal dialysis starting from December 1st. Yeah. It's just a pure political tactic to try and buy votes and to manipulate voters.
But the Minister of Health came out to, made known to the general public the disbursement that was made to the 10 facilities or so, or 33 facilities, I'm not sure of the number.
Surely. Ghana cities, the renal dialysis center. Arrears that hasn't been paid. Prior to that, the dialysis center in Kolebu was shutting down because of arrears owned by the government. Right? Today, what is the capacity of these dialysis centers across the country? Right? What is the capacity in terms of infrastructure and personnel that you are professing free renal care for the people of Ghana? Just about 6 days to an election, that is when you know that the people of Ghana need free renal care. The people of Ghana have been taken for granted for far too long. They have been taken for granted. Today, as I speak to you, go and see the various districts. Look at the way these various parliamentary candidates and MPs that are currently in post are championing the construction of roads and the fixing of street lights and what have you, and boreholes and the rest. Is it that getting to an election, that is when you know that the people of Ghana are in dire need of development? And that has been the status quo for the past 32 years now. But the people of Ghana have one more chance to change the status quo and bring a person that has the credibility, the character, and honesty. When you look at the Afrobarometer report, I am very, very happy and convinced with that data that 71% of Ghanaians are going to vote for a leader who has good character. About 70% are going to vote for a leader that is honest. And about 32% are the ones that are buying into the campaign promises. So it means that they are looking at the character, the credibility, the integrity of the leader. And of course, if we are going to base our judgment on that, then Honorable Alan Kojo Tramantin's lead in this election is highly apodictic, which the NDC and the MPP cannot question. Because if that is the case, then we have the best candidate for Ghana. Because we have a leader that has a track record, and he has said on various platforms that he has never been corrupt, and he will never be corrupt. The longest serving trade and industry minister in our Fourth Republic, no corrupt scandal or activity can be aligned to Honorable Alan Kojo Tramantin, which is quite admirable and serves as a good and a great template for young ones who want to seek or who admire leadership in this country or who want to get into politics. When you have a leader like this lead this country, indeed, Ghana will definitely rise again. So, Ohemaa, we are saying that this NSS scandal, these people would clear them. They will clear their party members. But inshallah, and by the grace of God, when the people of Ghana entrust the governance in the hands of Honorable Alan Kojo Tramantin, we would investigate and prosecute all the perpetrators of this erroneous crime against the people of Ghana. 380 million Ghana cedis could have been used to build more schools, right? So that we will not, our educational system, especially the free SHS policy, will not be plagued with double track system. This 380 million a year could have been used to give small and medium enterprises and even micro enterprises soft loans to start up their businesses, so that the youth unemployment rate, which is hovering about 1.9 million unemployed youthful people, would reduce. This 380 million could have been used to extend electricity to our rural areas. This 380 million could have been used to mitigate the issue of rural to urban migration, because the people who are in our rural areas are highly impoverished, and they come to our urban centers to seek for greener pastures. We could have used all these monies to empower our young people, to empower our agricultural sector, and of course to promote an agenda for industrialization. That's Ohemaa, the monies that Honorable Alan Kojo Tramanti received under the 1D1F policy since it began to when he left office was only 400 million Ghana cedis. Yet, with 400 million Ghana cedis, he was able to create 170,000 direct and indirect jobs. He was able to formulate an automotive policy that today Ghana currently has 6 of the largest global automotive companies assembling vehicles in Ghana. That today Ghana currently has a capacity to assemble 125,000 to 140,000 vehicles a year. This is phenomenal in the history of our country. And with just 400 million, and we are talking about what, 380 million a year loss. So this government would have to account to the people of Ghana. Right. When they bring you the monies, and some of these monies that they've stolen is meant for elections, this election. And we've seen it.
We've seen it where?
We've seen it. Oh, I also Westmore, my constituency, where a parliamentary candidate cooked food, right, and was sharing among our security personnel.
No, but if you intend to go, or if you intend to embark on a campaign, you have a budget. So doesn't it?
Whilst you're in the queue to go and vote, is that right?
This is NSS business.
It doesn't matter, but I'm saying that $380 million, 380 million cedis has been lost a year.
So you are suggesting that
this is another loot, is a loot system that has been created, and these monies, I am telling you, will be shared on the D-Day during campaign. That these
during election.
Of course, I mean during the election and the campaign. They've shared these monies. When they go to their various constituencies and they are embarking on their campaign activities, they share money. We've seen it. Their videos are out there where a stack of cash has been placed on the table, right? And MPP parliamentary candidates are sharing monies to their constituents in order to induce them for them to vote for them. And I have to blame the people of Ghana, because we have allowed these people to undermine us for far too long. For far too long. They don't provide the development we need. But when it's time for election, we allow ourselves to be induced by money. And so for the 8 years, the only benefit the people of Ghana get is either 100 Ghana cedis or 200 Ghana cedis. If you're even lucky, they'll add a coke, and then a bag of rice, and then even oil. That is if you are lucky. And that is a development that they can show to the people that this is what I have for you after 8 years. The people of Ghana, please, let us rise beyond these pettiness. Let us look at the interests of Ghana. And that is the theme underpinning the movement for change, that Ghana's interests should be first than the interests of any political party or any individual. Ohemaa, we are in serious crisis as a country. We need to liberate this country from the hands of these kleptocrats and corrupt leaders that we've entrusted for the past 32 years. Today, look at how our political system has been manipulated with money. That, well, if you do not have money today, and somebody said something, I don't know if it was Hassan Ayarga, he said that even if Jesus Christ was to be on the ballot paper, he will not win. Because Jesus is a virtuous prophet, and he will not pay bribes, or he will not induce voters. And this is the current state of our political landscape. And so, Ohemaa, the people of Ghana should know that This 380 million Ghana cedis a year loss and other many scandals have to be accounted for.
Yeah.
Most of these monies, I can bet you, have been used as mattress. I never knew, until this MPP government came into power, I never knew that you could actually use cash as mattress and sleep well. I didn't know that. I didn't know that my brother, that cash can be used as mattress. Cecilia Dapa is a clear classic example. $1 million plus 300,000 euros and a couple of millions of Ghana cedis in the room. Meanwhile, young people like us need soft loans to create jobs and businesses in this country. Yet still, these corrupt politicians have stuck this cash in their house, and they are using it as mattress at the expense of the people of Ghana.
For us.
So, Ohemaa, we would investigate this NSS scandal, and those that are behind this would go to jail. We promise the people of Ghana that when we come, and that is why Honorable Alan Kojo Tramante is proposing that we amend the regulations that is enshrined by law in terms of the office of the special prosecutor that derives his powers from the office of the Attorney General, and make sure that the OSP is replaced with an anti-corruption czar, which will be an overlord that would be independent and will not derive his powers from the Attorney General's office to fight corruption. We would also consolidate other regulations, right, that seek to fight corruption. We have a lot of agencies with overlapping mandates. SHRAJ, the police, BNI or NIB, YOKO, all these agencies claim to be fighting corruption, right? And we've seen a lot of conflicts between these agencies in terms of their work. We want to consolidate all the regulations and provisions that claim to fight corruption in this country and give that provision and have a holistic one and give it to the anti-corruption czar, which would be the overlord that would fight corruption solely in this country. So any issue of corruption will be investigated and will be fought by the anti-corruption czar. And I think that if we're able to have this system backed by a bicameral parliamentary system that we want to introduce, Ghana will definitely rise again.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Ramsey Nusa. I'm going to invite Mr. Abe to speak, but before that, there are some interesting messages coming through, and I'd like to read a few of them. Thank you very much for choosing to be a part of our conversation this morning. Now, Al-Hassan Hamdan from Nyohini South says the most irresponsible and irrational citizen is the one who will take money/bribe and vote for a political party, especially a party in power. If a party that was given the mandate to govern for 8 solid years, has really performed well and played its role as a government in power, they wouldn't have to go about bribing or dishing out monies in an attempt to buy votes. Please note that the number is not for calls. The calls are really distracting the whole reading. Now, take 100 CDs, 200 CDs, 500 CDs, 1,000 CDs today and vote for a selfish politician and get crippled in government and quality of your livelihoods for 10 years. Let's not sell our conscience and integrity to selfish politicians. Okay, thank you. This one says, Ohemaa, if it is not real, why are they in court? Tomorrow is the slaughter day and Ghana will be free forever, inshallah. JDM all the way, BA from Sagnarigu. I always struggle with his name. Sagnarigu. Yeah, Sagnarigu. ABF Husseini's constituency, right? He's been fighting with me about the pronunciation. I'm sorry. Now, let me read a few more. Ohemaa, Jean Mensa has caused us enough financial loss. She should not try to declare several times the results of tomorrow's elections, like she did the other time. We don't want any chaos in Ghana. Ni Mensa, Spintex Road. Thank you, Ni. Again, we are again, we are telling NPP that soldiers, they are brought, okay, I'm not too sure. Please frame your submission well so that I can read it clearly and audibly. Okay. Good morning, Ohemaa. I'm Seidu from Kumasi. Ghanaians have made up their minds. NDC is winning 2024 elections. I wish every sound person to vote for change. All right. Thank you very much for your messages. I'll be reading them in the course of our conversation, but let me bring Mr. Abe in.
Right. So thank you very much, Ohemaa. Quite, of course, not surprising. And a lot of issues to really look at on this particular issue. So first of all, we are talking about 380 million Ghana cedis, right?
A year.
A year. And it means that they may have been doing this for the past 80 years. Now, this is only one scandal out of the lot. The voter listening or watching us this morning must understand that anything you buy in this country, you pay taxes on them. The taxes are a form of revenue generation for government. But our government, the Bawumia government, says that they need more money for development purposes to provide the public good for you. Healthcare, education, good roads, and what have you, better schools. And so because they need more money, they have to go out to go and borrow more loans. And guess it, when they go out to borrow, what they do is very simple. They tell the lenders that the people of Ghana have given us the mandate. We are the executive. So they go borrow in your name. So you pay taxes to government. They go borrow in addition in your name. So the money comes in. And this is what they put the money to. A lot of scandals here and there. Now, I would want to isolate a very interesting experience or submission made by Ramsey on the data that is in the system related to this scandal.
The ghost names, you mean?
Precisely. That you have some names of Kenyan origin. And again, the age ranges in some cases 98, 93 of the persons alleged to have received these, monies, the ghost names. Now, the first thing that would come to mind is, so if you're going to steal, you're not even smart about it. But that is actually not the case. It is actually the case that the absolute disrespect for Ghanaians. You see, you do things with careless abandon. And there is a connection to this. The NPP wanting Bawumia to, at all cost, succeed Akufo-Addo is because of what they know they've deliberately done against the people of Ghana with careless abandon. Like this. Oh, let's write some names. Oh, let's fix some ages. And so there is no regard for you, the voter. And we've experienced this, as properly described by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, horror movie for the past 8 years. Now, of course, Ramsey listed a number of things that this 380 million Ghana cedis, including the other stolen monies, could be used for. But the other interesting spectacle is this. Let's say you have a total of 100% of corruption proceeds going to government functionaries. And today on election day, they only take about 1% of it and come and share to you, the ordinary voters. They steal your money. They take 100 Ghana cedis from the pot. They bring 1 cedi down there to share amongst you. They throw it at you. That is deliberate insult. And that is why we in the NDC, apart from all the manifesto conversations and what we've had, think that this election is a test on the ordinary Ghanaians' respect for your own dignity. That, are we going to allow this NPP lot to continue again? Do we even have any dignity we are so proud of as Ghanaians, as a people, that with the extent of bruise to our democracy, collapse of our state institutions, almost nearing a failed state, and with all the economic mismanagement under a so-called economic whiskit, some think that it is okay to take the 1 cedi out of the lot they've stolen, like in this case, and reward the NPP for the harm they've caused to our grandmothers, our grandfathers, the poor pensioners, and you do this without any sensitivity. And when I saw the pensioners protesting, you see, in serious jurisdictions, the vulnerable in society, the state never jokes with them. That is why you have benefits. And those things have been intentionally crafted and developed. Because it is your mandate, your responsibility to protect the weak and vulnerable in society. But in this case, their own contributions, they are not even asking you to come and offer free support, free protection. Their own contributions with careless abandon. And we say that tomorrow NPP must be rewarded. Where lies our dignity as Ghanaians? The election tomorrow is one which your son, your daughter, your relative, your pastor, your imam should be able to look into your face and say, as a Ghanaian, you respect your dignity such that you took that decision, which everybody is taking. Majority of Ghanaians are taking that decision. Now listen, the last thing you would ever toil with is our dignity as Ghanaians. You've shown us enough absolute disrespect with all these, and the sheer arrogance accompanying the conduct of government's business. Mind-blowing. Tomorrow gives us the opportunity. Now, I think that the judiciary missed one more time a golden opportunity to uphold our democratic project as a nation. And so, in the last election petition, when the Electoral Commissioner was shielded from being accountable to Ghanaians regarding the conduct of her public constitutional duty, which, in all fairness, which any reasonable man on the street would come to the conclusion that this is a matter of public interest. Ghanaians are interested. Ghanaians, the taxpayers, will want to know how the Electoral Commissioner, whom we pay with our taxes. I mean, how beautiful would that have been for the judiciary to uphold such a principle? Our democratic culture gradually eroding. Now, you see, the judiciary is there representing and amplifying the welfare, the interest of the people. as a people in this country, we've chosen to be governed by democracy. And so the least the judiciary could have done is to uphold the tenets of democracy. A very cardinal principle in any democratic project is the freedom of the media, the freedom for them to do their work without any interference. Indeed, if there's supposed to be any form of influence or interference from any state agency or individual, be it the president or executive, in the work of the media, it is rather to see how best you can improve the work of the media, but not.
But don't you think this injunction was to just, calm tempers and not more or less instigate some sort of uproar in this material moment as we're heading towards election?
I struggle to understand how citizen information, citizen knowledge, which would aid our participation in our democracy, because as citizens of this country, it is the information we consume, which of course is born out of our right. And that is why you have the right of education, for instance, because it is to help you to make informed choices in our democratic space. And so I wonder how that would become too fatal to our democratic project to such extent that that would warrant the interference of the judiciary to halt the premiere of the findings of the investigation. For me, it's one of the golden opportunities that the court, the judiciary, has clearly missed. Now, I am very much happy that even yesterday, and we've said this on many counts, what the NDC calls Operation Recover or Loot. Indeed, yesterday, His Excellency, the incoming President of the Republic of Ghana, once again, John Dramani Mahama, re-echoed his commitment to combat corruption, re-echoed his commitment to go against the thieves, the looters, those who have proven not to be friends of the state, as we speak, through the Operation Recover or Loot. Indeed, he even went ahead and mentioned specific names. That should tell you that there is a lot of work ongoing already at the background in terms of what to do. And that is the clearest of indication that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama means business. With all the experience he's had as a former president and as the incoming president, Ghana is going to be the better. Ghana is going to really be the beneficiary of such wonderful experience we're going to have, that a former president who has seen it all, who's experienced the low moment in governance, who's experienced the high moment in governance, comes with this rich experience. And so when he says we are going to take steps to ensure that we recover every loot, what it means is that this will be taken care of. And so for you, the ordinary voter, I know you are concerned. We are equally concerned. The Operation Recover or Loot will be quickly activated. And what that means is that they are going to return all these stolen monies. And that is why your vote must go to no other than His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who is number 8 on the ballot paper. Of course, he needs a majority in Parliament. And so every NDC member of Parliament, including the Temba East constituency, must be voted for. So they come support His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to work and realize our aspirations, our wishes as a people. And that is why he says that we need to build the Ghana we want.
Okay. All right, Urabio, on this subject matter. Thank you very much. We've heard from our panelists. Now, messages keep coming through, and thank you for being a part of the conversation. This one says, "Good morning, Ohemaa. What my brother is saying is true. In Zabzugu district, no candidate. No. Please reframe your submission so that I can read it with clarity. Thank you." This one also says that Ben from Teshi, the judiciary is helping the thieves to steal from the citizens. Also, Ken William, "Good morning, Ohemaa. Don't be surprised because we are in the golden age of daily scandals. Honorable Kweku Kwarteng once said that his party is running the country like a Ponzi scheme in which officials use every means to loot everything, including state lands, get funds, PDS, free SHS, corona funds, and pension haircuts. If they can be bold to scam God with a fake cathedral, what can they do with the unanimous FC?" You keep saying this. "Unanimous FC to subvert our laws or rewrite Article 97 to satisfy the NPP." You know who the unanimous FC is?
Oh, we know that. By their deeds.
By their fruits you shall know them. Right. This one says that, "Fellow Ghanaians, NPP is a dishonest party. Let us send them into the bush tomorrow." Kweku La Paz. All right. Thank you. Says, "Ohemaa, good morning. You are doing very well for Ghana and Africa. Thank you. This National Service Secretariat scandal is very serious. So, did I hear Kenyans and people with ages 83 and so on? Yes, you did. I can't think far." Abraham from Teshi. "What I'm going through this morning just to get 2 square meal, it's very sad. We're sorry about that." Razak from Salaga. "Good morning, madam. Enough is enough. We are suffering. They are actually looting us a lot. We are tired. We need a change. Let's all come together to rescue our country. The only country we have is Ghana. Let's not..." okay, this one is made. "Let's not destroy our country. Let's say no to NPP and vote massively for JDM." Okay, let me do text messages. This one says, "I really admire the NDC rep and want to be friends. I need your number, sir." Ari from Tamale. Mr. Abe, that's for you. Someone admires you and wants your number.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right, "Good morning. NPP will go out, inshallah. Abdul Rahim." Okay, thank you. Swan says that, "Ohemaa, if they bring you the money, we will collect and yet vote with our integrity intact." Then what's the point of taking the money? The money is ours. If we don't collect, okay, get it. If we don't collect, it won't still be used for our development. This NPP government is the worst ever. Okay. All right. So I'll be reading some of the messages as we go along, but let's just move on to our next subject for discussion. And it has to do with basically Ghana deciding tomorrow and campaigns ending, today. So does that mean it's against the laws that we're sitting here today? Because you people are campaigning passively through your contributions and the discourse we are having here. This is what I mean. Campaigns have ended and Ghanaians are going to vote. Ghanaians are going to decide tomorrow. And please, this is just to, encourage you that you should go and vote. If you're an eligible voter and you have the voter's ID and your name is registered and is seen on the voters register, please do well to go and vote. And do not be the devil's advocate by inciting violence through your conduct or through your words or any other form. And yeah, let's have a peaceful election. Now, let's run it this way. Let me start with you, Mr. Abe. What are your expectations, apart from the fact that you're looking forward for the NDC to win or to come back in power because Mahama, if Mahama wins, he's coming back, right? What are you expecting in the whole of the electoral process and, you know, Ghanaians, how tensions are going to be, the atmosphere? What are you projecting? What are you expecting?
Right, so before I come to what my expectations are, I think it is important to, share some thoughts I have been reflecting over for some time now. I see a situation where, and given all the surveys, research findings we've seen, not on who is winning, because we already know that most of the predictions are to the way of the NDC, that the NDC is forming the next government. We've also seen, sadly, feedback, replies, concerns by Ghanaians that they do not trust the current ability of the Ghanaian state to provide the public good. Trust, public confidence in our democracy is at its all-time low. And Ghanaians have also shared this openly, that they know that under this government, we've gone to the highest of lows in respect of everything. Now, what this means is very instructive. That with this concern, majority of Ghanaians have no other alternative, no other option, no other expectation than for a change to happen. Because clearly, they've registered their displeasure on our democratic project today. So Ghanaians clearly want to change. Now, the election process entails a number of stakeholders when you look at the entire value chain. Of course, you have the Electoral Commission itself with its officers and agents playing crucial roles in the election process. You have the security of the state playing very fundamental role, the provision of security in the election process. You have other state agencies and bodies playing crucial role in tomorrow's election. You have civil society organizations as well. Now, what this means to me is that Ghanaians expect that all these bodies and stakeholders, actors in the election process, play it fairly and squarely. Guard the process like you want for Ghana and not a political party or a regime. So there is the foremost expectation of fairness on the part of all the major stakeholders in the election process tomorrow. The EC, the officials, returning officers, presiding officers, including even the political parties themselves. Everybody must play according to the rule. And you know why that is very important? There is the likelihood that in the unlikely event that the election is tampered with, the integrity of the election is tampered with, or the will of the people subverted to or in favor of the ruling government, you're going to most likely have a situation where the people who desired for change and having these people being rewarded through a rigging mechanism would not regard them as legitimate government. And the danger is that you have people, voters, citizens, who see a government and can't relate. This is not a legitimate government because we want to change. This is not the government we voted for. And the moment you begin to build that psyche of the ordinary Ghanaian as to the legitimacy of the government in place, you are headed to the bananas. Because when you don't have legitimacy, chances are that I would disregard your orders. I would disregard your actions. And so state institutions, all critical stakeholders who have a role to play, I am inviting them this morning to envisage that reality, which is probable, that you're going to have a situation where the voters, the citizens, through all the surveys, who have desired a change, and through whatever unfair means, rigging, whatsoever, still perpetuate the incumbent government by rewarding them through irregular conduct and acts on the part of these stakeholders, you are creating a scenario where there's going to be a collision between the so-called elected government and the people. And our foremost responsibility is to avoid this. So I expect all polling agents to abide by the rules. Polling agents are there representing the interest of their candidates and the political party. The NDC has stated unequivocally that they are going to abide by the rules of the game. But,
sorry to truncate, but the NDC, on several accounts, we hear comments like, if it doesn't go in our favor, there's going to be war, stuff like that.
I have not, heard this anywhere.
There have been several.
And I haven't heard any NDC.
Recently, an NDC member was jailed for 10 years. He is called, I think, he has this tree nickname.
I don't know how, even if that's the case, I don't know how that is related to this conversation.
The court concluded that those were threatening, and even on the BBC interview with Mahama, I saw snippets of it, where he was asked whether he was going to concede if the results do not go in his favor, and he said that, oh well, if he doesn't hear any violence related issues, that military men are going here to intimidate people, if he doesn't hear anything of that sort, he's going to concede and accept the results as they are. And some NDC, and even on the streets, when we are doing vox pops and as journalists, as media people, you hear these kind of comments. Do you think that the NDC has taken a stance that if, come what may, when the results do not go your way, you are not going to concede and you're going to battle it out?
So there are two things here which are being mixed up. When you say when the results do not or does not go the way of the NDC, will the NDC accept or not? That is different from, say, when the process is fraught with irregularities, deliberate irregularities on the part of government, on the part of the EC, on the part of any of the stakeholders to the advantage of another political party. Clearly, when the processes are fraught with unlawful act, the Constitution even grants us that mandate, that authority to withstand any unlawful act being committed. And so if through unlawful means, something which you deserve, and someone wants to take it away from you through unlawful means, and you would say you would accept Ohemaa. So we should seek to understand the position of the NDC. And that is why I said that the party has stated everywhere that we are going to abide by the rules of the game. When anybody tries to do otherwise, that clearly is an invitation to equally do otherwise.
What kind of otherwise do you suppose here?
Of course, it's the reality that will determine. I mean, I can't out of my mind.
So if someone pulls a trigger, you will pull a trigger back?
I mean, when someone pulls a trigger, we know that the appropriate means is to report. When we say we're going to abide by the rules, that is what it means. But when we report, and the processes are not being adhered to lawfully,
you take the laws into your own hands.
It's not that you take the laws into your own hands, but there are other legitimate means of through protest.
Like
there are other, I mean,
like
civil
and you believe that
you
believe that at that material moment a protest will suffice.
Of course, there are rules for protesting. When I say protest, it's not only coming on the street.
Because we know how tenuous it gets. I don't know if that tenuous word is even it's English. Is it
so
English?
the fundamental thing is this.
And
you don't leave the perpetrator and rather play hard on the victim, which is what you're seeking to do, because whoever perpetrates unlawfulness must be the one we go at. And so the conversation should be that let us play fairly, squarely, abide by the rules of the game. That is even our duty, our responsibility as a people.
Yes, and that is absolutely what the tangent of the conversation
so when someone does what is wrong,
but we also have
must
to leave a
criticize.
margin for error. That are you saying that when someone pulls a trigger, you are doing that? You are
of
doing
course,
same.
I mean, I have not said that here, and that is not the position of the NDC. That when someone pulls a trigger, you're going to pull the trigger. There are other legitimate.
What are your measures?
But I can't sit here and share our measures with you. There are other legitimate means that
because they all contribute to the safety of our electoral process.
Of course, but we are in an election process.
Yeah.
Every party has its own strategy of winning the election, of course, through lawful means, and I don't think I have even the capacity to sit here and to share those with you. Not at all. But what we are saying is this. You don't leave the perpetrator and come pouncing, attacking on the victim. He who perpetrates unlawfulness, he who perpetrates an illegality should be called out by people like you, should be called out by everybody. This election is for Ghanaians. Ghanaians have high stakes in the election.
I do. I agree with you. I'm not even, I'm not in contention with you or anything like that. But in 2020 elections, 8 people died. We have made the most noise. 4 years on, nothing has been done about it.
And that is why the golden opportunity we have today is tomorrow. That is why it presents us another opportunity to say, we don't want what happened in 2020 again. We don't want to embrace the past. We don't want to do that. Of course, there are some past that come with golden experience, like that of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. But a past where 8 people got murdered, Ghanaians who have families, who had aspirations because of elections.
Yeah, and my concern is about what has to be done to bring the perpetrators to book for justice to be served. Well, it is said that the wheels of justice turn slowly and by the grads.
There are several means. It is when we look at it from a one-tunnel perspective. In fact, the most fundamental means is to vote out. That's the most fundamental means.
Well, I could agree with you on that. Yeah. Dr. Ramsey.
Ohemaa. Ghana has come at a crossroads. And indeed, the people of Ghana need an ultimate change away from the duopoly of the MPP and the NDC. 32 years in the life of a country should promote good, right, and appreciable amount of social and economic development in the lives of the people. We hear plenty promises, and we've heard it before. It's the same old song. Nothing changes. The song is the same old. And what I am sad about, and as being an active member in the campaign since the genesis of our campaign season, has been that through my interaction with various people on the streets of Accra and Kumasi, Central Region, Volta Region, and even the Northern Region, people are so tired of our governance system and our political landscape that they do not want to vote. And I feel highly melancholic about this phenomenon. That people, the apathy that the people of Ghana have is so grave that people don't want to vote. But this is to my people and to the people of Ghana. If you do not go out come December 7th and vote and show your will, you have empowered the MPP and the NDC. Not showing up to vote is a vote for the MPP and is a vote for the NDC. And you, those kind of voters that are saying that you are not going to vote, are needed to make that difference. Because I call them the enlightened voters. If you do not vote, if you do not go out to vote, someone will take Nkukon Kitinkiti and 100 Ghana cedis, or even as much as 10 Ghana cedis, a radio, a cutlass, Wellington boots, Ohemaa, even a mobile phone, and go and vote for any of these two parties. Because we have seen over the past 32 years that they have induced the people of Ghana with materialistic stuffs and sway their conscience to vote for them. And this is what we have. And I always say that the kind of leadership we have is a reflection of our society. That the Ghanaian society deliberately has been engineered socially and culturally to be dishonest and corrupt. That is what is happening. That today, when you go out there and you are campaigning, you hear people say that, but what my t-shirt, what my policies, now one first can't count. We always get that. People ask, they want to be induced before they even vote. Now, to the people of Ghana, you have a choice to make. You have a chance to repent. And of course, we members of the Movement for Change bring the ultimate and not the alternative. We have been coupled with this dilemma, MPP-NDC syndrome, for 32 years. And I hear somebody promising us of a fourth industrial revolution. Ohemaa, Ghana would be the talk of the world. And we are laughing stock because you have not passed the first industrial revolution, the second industrial revolution, the third industrial revolution, and somebody promises the people of Ghana.
Who is that? Who is that?
Who else?
What do you mean, who else? Who is that?
Dr. Promises. Dr. Digital. Indeed, Dr. Lies. Promising the people of Ghana that he is going to usher us into the era of the fourth industrial revolution. Now, here's the case. Ohemaa, what is currently the digital literacy rate in Ghana? I put it to Baumia. What is currently the digital infrastructure that we have for that fourth industrial revolution that he's talking about? Right? What is the cost of internet in Ghana today? The cost of data. What is the cost of smartphones and devices that can usher us into the fourth industrial revolution? What is the skill sets of our workforce that can be able to manage and support the foundation of a fourth industrial revolution. All this is lost, and these people look the people in the eye and tell them that we are taking you into the fourth industrial revolution. If at all, any reasonable economist would never propel or profess such policy recommendation at this current moment. Because, and I always say this, the fourth industrial revolution, which is booming in these developed countries, is indeed a risk to we Africans. Because the fourth industrial revolution, right, Ohemaa,
yeah,
in these industrial nations, are going to replace jobs that can be done by human beings with machines, robotics, AI, and the rest. Now, we in Ghana have a youthful population, right? Yeah. We in Ghana have a youthful population. Yeah. About 60% of our population are dominated by the youth.
Yeah.
Which today, we have 1.9 million unemployed youthful people. Now, I'm asking you this question. If the Chinese are replacing cheap labor with robots and AI, do you think that if we educate our people in vocational training and all that, right? And of course, we championing the cause to get more foreign direct investment, do you think that the Chinese will come and invest their monies here? Do you think that? Because they have entered the era of the fourth industrial revolution, right? So they can replace those, the era of cheap skilled labor with machines, robotics. But we are here. Ohemaa, even from Accra to Kumasi, we cannot even dualize our road from Accra to Kumasi. Talk about even Techima to Tamale. And you are talking about the fourth industrial revolution. You are here where our agricultural sector is growing at a rate of minus 2.5%. Our agroeconomy is actually failing at the mercies of Galamsey. And you are talking about the fourth industrial revolution. We are here where even toothpick is imported into this country. We cannot even manufacture toothpick. And you are talking about the fourth industrial revolution. If this is not dishonesty, what is this? Which reasonable economist will propose that Ghana goes into the fourth industrial revolution at this current juncture of our development dispensation? As I did reiterate, the first industrial revolution, we've missed that opportunity. Second, third, we are not even there. And we are talking about the fourth industrial revolution. Now talk about their investment in the digital space. It will beg you to know, as a citizen of this country, and you feel highly melancholic this morning to know that the cost of the e-gates, the contract that they signed for the e-gates at Kojo International Airport, is as equal as the cost of the investment of that Terminal 3 in the airport. Yes. The contract that they signed for those e-gates, plus the procurement aspect, the servicing aspect.
But we are told that e-gate is actually a transfer of a system that existed in Terminal 2. Yes,
which Esla Owusu was the one that commissioned it in 2018.
If it's just like transferring it from one, but within the same terrain for the same
why
function,
would it cost?
Cost? Yeah.
And even the World Bank gave us about $27 million already for that project. I can tell you, Ohemaa, I can tell you on all facts that that e-gate should not cost Ghana more than $200,000. That e-gate we see at Kotoka should not cost us more than $200,000. If I'm lying, go to Alibaba.com. Alibaba, open source, China. Open source, Alibaba.com and Google, or Google it, anywhere, Alibaba.com. And just type in e-gate systems for airports and see how much it will come. Yet still, they charge us $248 million. They signed a contract, $248 million for the e-gates. Ohemaa, what are we talking about? And I see a lot of people following these people. Dancing Sisifia. Sisifia on the stage. That's what they know. Today, even doctors, even lawyers, journalists cannot afford 3 square meals a day. It's a fact. What is our current savings in our banks? The state of our savings as the working class, as people that belong to the working class. What is the current state of our savings? What is the current state of our purchasing power? Look at the current rate of inflation going on. The depreciation of the Ghana cedis, which is currently Africa's 4th worst performing currency. All this is not seen. Ohemaa. And so what I can tell them is that the people of Ghana would not take scriptural lessons from a drinking bar. The MPP has failed us, and of course, the NDC equally. For 32 years now, they failed us. Right? We can only usher in a new era for Ghana. An era where an erudite in industrialization and the private sector development would come on board and rule this country, so that collectively we can form what we call an enterprise economy. We can build that enterprise economy that would be driven by the private sector. Honorable Kojo Tremantin has said on various platforms, and he has even written it in his great transformational plan, that he is going to lead a lean government. And he is not going to appoint more than 40 ministers. Added to that, he would ensure by law, when he comes into office, that public expenditure does not exceed 10% of our GDP. Government borrowing does not exceed 55% of our GDP. And of course, to finance our budget deficits, he is going to ensure strict fiscal discipline. And he is not going to finance our budget deficit by more than 5% of our GDP. This would reduce public expenditure and would provide monies to the private sector, because government is competing with the private sector. Yet, what government uses these monies for does not endure any benefits. They share it among their party apparatchiks, tune of inflated contracts, like what we are seeing with the NSS, the airport scandal, right? SML, National Cathedral, name them. I can go on and on and on and on. So Ghana needs a change, Ohemaa. And when you go tomorrow, my people, don't look far. Look, the foundation of Ghana lies at the bottom of the ballot paper. And this, when you go, look below. The last one, Achiaa, and just vote for Alan Tremantin to be the next president of the Republic of Ghana that would usher in a new era of industrialization, that would leapfrog our economy from an import-driven one to an export-driven one, a leader that would stabilize our city, and a leader that will unite this country that has been divided and polarized by the duopoly of the MPP and the NDC. We need peace come December 7th. And the peace can be only sustained when we vote in Honorable Alan Kojo Tremantin. Because when you vote Honorable Alan Kojo Tremantin, the MPP and the NDC are not going to fight, as we've been hearing them beat war drums. Ghana is a country for all of us. We only have one Ghana, right? And I want to send a caution, lastly, to the Electoral Commission. If you look at the Afrobarometer report, 68% of the people of Ghana have lost trust in the Electoral Commission. It is alarming, Ohemaa, and we've seen the manner in which they have conducted themselves throughout the electoral process till date. I want to caution the EC chairperson, and other commissioners of the EC who are MPP members that we will not sit down there, and the people of Ghana will not sit down there for you to subvert their will. And a caution to the security agency, especially the military. To the military, we are Ghanaians like you are. You all have families at home.
They have actually...
No, but I want to... Oh, but Ohemaa, let me make this point. Ohemaa, let me make this point.
And their leaders have also said that
Ohemaa,
they're not going
let me
to
make this point, Ohemaa.
make that possible.
Well, that is what... Say Kasaya and Frama. That is what they say. We saw what happened in Techima South. 8 people died. What has been done? We saw what happened in Achiaa, also West Wuogon, where a committee was set up by the president, the Emil Short Commission. Right? They tabled down recommendations and then other punitive measures that should be taken against those perpetrators of such erroneous crime. What was done? Those that propagated that crime were rather promoted. We saw what happened in Achiaa. What has been done? And so to the military, please, you are not welcomed at any police station in this country. You are not welcome. Please, stay in your barracks. The police would handle, and I believe the police has a capacity to handle any issue. We do not want to see any military men in our police station. Please. And I am saying, I am in Achiaa, also West Wuogon. If I see any military man, we would apply the laws. Because their leadership, citizen arrest, who arrest them?
Okay.
Who enact a citizenry arrest? We would arrest them. If you are any military man...
You are yet to enact that law.
No, but well, we will enact it on that day. We will pass that law on that day.
Anyway,
so what I'm saying is that we want peace. And to all the political parties and stakeholders, please, let's ensure decorum in the way we speak on various campaign platforms. Ghana is a highly divided country today. It's a highly polarized country today. If Ghana bends, we all fall. This country is a great country that God has blessed. Blessed us with a lot of natural resources, but we lack that leadership to be able to tap into that potential to benefit the people of Ghana.
Okay.
All is not lost. Vote for Honorable Alan Kojo Tramantin to bring that change and to bring prosperity so that Ghana would rise again.
Right. Thank you very much. We have a plethora of messages that I need to put across before my viewers, come at me. But this was coming from Clement in Sunyani. It says, I'm enjoying the discussion. The recovery of the loot should not be a mere rhetoric. Employment now has become a thing for the privileged because the majority cannot pay for these jobs. Ohemaa, 8 years is enough. We are engulfed with bad roads, huge corruption, family and friends favors, very low employment rates. Why should such people return to power? The youth is quiet. It's quiet, and that's enough. Okay. This one also says that, good morning, Ohemaa. I want to call on political parties and CSOs to do a joint press conference to call out the EC and the NPP. It's not enough to expose the vote rigging plans of NPP and its agents. They must report the... please, the calls. We're supposed to be reading messages and not receiving calls. Thank you. They must be the subversive acts of the NPP to ECOWAS, UNO, EU, and embassies before it's too late. NPP is a vote rigging mafia that threw bombs at Dr. Nkrumah and banned TPP in 1969 to hijack power for Buzia and Akufo-Addo's father. NPP is bent on rigging the aid. Okay, this one's coming from Sabah, and he says that no one is told to see tomorrow and no one is rich enough to buy yesterday. It's only by God's grace to be alive today. So, Akufo-Addo and NPP government should consider all these before acting this way. You will by all means account for your actions and inactions one day. James K. Saba. All right. This one's also coming through. Okay, sending a video. I'm not sure what the content is, but thank you. Good morning to you and your panelists. This is Adam Kola, PRO from Tamale Central. Ghanaians will decide tomorrow, and I hope Ghanaians will reject incompetent Nana-Addo and his notorious administration and bring John Mahama to save Ghana from these incompetent people. Send my greetings to Haj Tanko. All right. Thank you very much. Asanko says that members of the movement for change should not create the impression as though Mr. Alanche Martin is not just a descendant, or Mr. Alanche Martin did not just descend from heaven with different ideas for governance. Was he not part of the Akufo-Addo failed NPP government that has destroyed every aspect of Ghana's economy, eventually plunging it into bankruptcy? Asanko. Okay, maybe Ramsey will respond to that.
You want me to respond to that?
After these messages. Okay, says, good morning, Ohemaa. You're doing a great job, thank you. However, this morning, you're jabbing the wrong target. The party in power that the general Ghanaian population says the EC is doing everything possible to subvert the people's choice in their favor isn't in the studio to answer those germane concerns you raised with the NDC rep. The NDC and other contestants shouldn't be the ones to guarantee peace. It's the EC and party in power who need to assure Ghanaians a free and fair and peaceful election. But I mean, even me, I'm an instrument for peace, right? So if I instigate violence, then I'm disrupting peace. So I think it's fair that I ask him what their peaceful measures are, right?
Well, so I think what the it wasn't a call, right? It was
no, a message.
So what the message meant is this: aside the fact that you have the NPP as a political party in this election, it is equally the case that NPP is the party that is in government. And when you are in government, there are responsibilities that we expect that you deliver, you discharge in a lawful manner. And one major responsibility is the security of the entire process,
Right.
whichever way the election even goes. So where you realize, and which of course they are going to be realizing very soon from tomorrow, that you are losing the elections, your fidelity is to your constitutional mandate, your responsibility of providing security in the fair manner. I mean, and so the state has that obligation. And so the message is inviting you to rather interrogate and ask, throw out the questions, what is the state doing in ensuring
But
that...
nobody is here to represent the state.
No.
So
So
the conversation
you don't necessarily need to have a rep here. Whether someone represents the state here or not, or even not the state, the NPP, usually nobody even represents the state here. Whether someone represents a political party here or not,
we are representing
there's a responsibility.
Yes, of course.
Which must be discharged.
Yeah, but I asked what is being done about the previous, atrocities that...
Nothing has been done.
No,
Exactly.
No. So
it's a legitimate question.
nothing has been done.
But we'll take it.
Something can be done, and it begins from voting them out.
Yes, that is what I agreed with
Precisely.
you. And that is
it
one of
begins
the
from voting them out.
measures that I sought to understand. But yeah, still messages to be read, but I think we're hard pressed with time. Just 1 minute to go. Let me do this final one.
I think you haven't given
I'll give you your
He spoke. I am to
No, that was your time.
Yeah, you had your final.
No, those weren't final words. Those were your take on the campaign.
I am the last on the ballot, so I have to speak last.
Not at all.
I'm speaking last. I'm the last on the ballot, so I have to speak last.
No, I'm going to give you 1 minute each to sign out.
Anyways.
But this one says that as for the election, Mahama Afa. But to be honest, the MPP has not been like aristocrats, and it baffles the young mind on mine. I'm not too sure. Please do well to send your messages with clarity so that we can read them. All right. So, Dr. Ramsey.
You know, the propaganda that...
Before my producers come in here.
The propaganda that the MPP and the NDC are pushing out there is that, Alan Tramartin was part of the MPP. And so all the failures of the MPP, he should carry that weight. I disagree. Because on the principle of collective responsibility and individual accountability, right, I disagree with them. Let us look at his role as a Minister for Trade and Industry. How much money he got to his ministry and what he has been able to do. What he has even been able to do in his previous life before even he entered politics and all that. And I can give you some facts. In 1994, when Nelson Mandela, of blessed memory...
I hope I'll have my 1 minute.
No, your 1 minute is up. It's almost up.
Oh, but you see, when you keep on interjecting me, then you disrupt the message to the people.
But I think the 1 minute cannot
accommodate
the historical precedent.
It doesn't matter, but I'll make it in 1 minute. So the clock's out. Anyway, when Nelson Mandela left prison in 1994 and was looking for 7 experts to build an enterprise economy, Alan Tramartin was part of those experts. Today, we see that South Africa has turned into Africa's most industrious nation. That has been credited to the contribution of Honorable Alan Kojo Tramartin. Under this government, he led the agenda to establish 269 factories in various districts in this country under the auspices of the 1D, 1F. That today, even though he was shortchanged in terms of the budgetary allocation to his ministry, he had little to 400 million Ghana cedis. He has been able to create 170,000 direct and indirect jobs. When he was Minister for Trade and Industry, he implemented what people call the ICOM system, which was a partnership between Unipass and GH Link at the ports. That rigged in billions of Ghana cedis of revenue at our ports and closed and sealed the loopholes of corrupt practices of port workers. So, Ohemaa, can I sit down here and accept the fact that Honorable Alan Kojo Tramartin should be blamed for Galamsey? He should be blamed for Dumso. He should be blamed for the high tax regime, which was not his responsibility. But of course, in cabinet, you can only make a recommendation. You can only give the best solution.
Yeah.
But it's up to Mahmoud Bawumia, who is the head of the economic management team, and the president to accept.
Yeah.
And of course, if indeed, let me make this point, that is the only issue Ghanaians have with Honorable Alan Kojo Tramartin. Yeah. Those candidates that they are professing, Mahama and Mahmoud Bawumia, they've enjoyed the seat of governance.
All right.
As being the vice president and then the president.
Okay.
Let's look at their track record as compared to a minister who has done great for this country.
All right.
So the people of Ghana, do not despair. Do not let them confuse you. Ghana would rise again.
Thank you, Mr. Abbey.
I don't know whether to describe it as, I don't want to use a strong word as disingenuous, where one can selectively claim positives in administration, and where it comes to the negatives, one tends to shy away. So for instance, you talk about 1D, 1F, and I've heard Alan and of course his team talk about that with all pride, you get it. And of course, a component of the failed NPP administration largely. And so if one seeks to selectively pick, and then when it comes to the collective failure, one would want to dissociate it. It doesn't really sit well with me. But the most critical point here is this. You are a journalist. I'm sure, haven't been a journalist for 5, 10 years, and you exit the plane. With a second opportunity to still serve as a journalist, granted you would want to, I'm sure you come in with rich experience, you come in with, memories, you come in with both the experience of the highs and the lows, which actually would help you to do your work creditably and professionally. That is the experience His Excellency John Dramani Mahama brings to the fore.
Right.
And in this crucial moment of our country, at this stage of our economy, the only person you need is one who has the experience.
Okay.
Indeed. Sometimes I ask, so who are those that, in the likely event, Alhaji Mahmoud becomes president, who are those that he's going to appoint, and are they not from the same NPP stock? We've already shown through all the findings, the survey, revelations, and what have you, that we don't like this thing of a government. Okay. This 8 years of, servitude, this 8 years of feeling a second-class citizen. What happens now is an MPP member is more or less a superior citizen, a Class A citizen, and it clearly shows with even a scholarship secretariat scandal where NPP-connected members have access, they are able to enjoy the public good, which is the scholarship that was provided, and when you're NDC, you're unable to. Clearly, we don't want that. We wouldn't want this for our children. We didn't want this for our family. We didn't want this for any Ghanaian. And that is why tomorrow, the clarion call, majority have said this, we need to change the course.
Right.
The only person to do this is His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
Thank you very much.
Number 8 on the ballot paper.
It's been an amazing and insightful conversation. I've really enjoyed the conversation today, and I know you have as well. Thank you so much for always choosing us to bring you the very best. And this is just a humble appeal. If you are an eligible voter, just pick your card, go out to vote. It is your civil right. It is your inalienable right. And so,
and when they bring their money, please take it and chop.
And no, we can't give you that advice. But that would depend on you and who you wish to vote for. But it's been amazing. Tomorrow we are running to the polls. I will see you on Monday after the results have been declared. Thank you so much. My name is Ohemaa Agyekum. Do have an amazing election weekend. See ya.